If you're old enough to remember these old retro screens that you used to get on handheld, like gaming consoles and old, like some of the first mobile phones, then you will immediately recognize what I was going for when I uploaded this post to Instagram like a week ago. If you don't follow me on Instagram, or if you're just too young to remember these phones and these screens, then there was a whole era where you could only really have two colors on a screen. So a lot of the first phones were like green background. Everything was made really simple so it could all fit on the screen and not use too much battery power, and that's still a cool look that people go for in design work. I'm going to show you how I did it. For this poster, I'll show you on screen now. I'll try get some other examples of this too and put those on screen. For this tutorial, we are going to be using Dither Boy and Photoshop. I'm also going to show you a cool public domain image library that I've been using recently. If you've not heard of it, Dither Boy is the first Studio AAA software that we've ever put out. It's available now on the site. It's one purchase, you keep it forever, you get all the updates for free. I'm not going to give you the whole 20-minute pitch for that in this video. All the links will be below. We're going to get an image, set up our layout in Photoshop, dither the image in Dither Boy, and then finish it off in Photoshop. So to get started, I'm going to go to public.work because I was recommended this site recently, and when you click on the search bar here, you will get recommended some search terms. One of them says fairy tales, and there's another one that says mythical creatures somewhere. So if you click on fairy tales, you will be able to find somewhere on here. I've already got it downloaded. You got to click around and it's a little bit janky and broken because it'll have you like pulling the whole page. But yeah, you'll be able to find somewhere on here an image of a dragon I got. Unfortunately, when you click on these images, they don't let you sort of link them to other people. You might get it if you type in the mythical creatures search term. Actually, there it is. So if you type in mythical creatures, this is the image I'm going to use. As you can see, when you click on it, it just puts the search term in the link. So I can't link you to this image, but I'll link this search term in the description. I've already got this image downloaded, so I'm going to come out of public work now. I've got a 2160 by 2700 document open in Photoshop. You can go for whatever size you want for this video, as long as it's not too small. I wouldn't recommend anything below at least like 1080 by 1350, or like just don't have your smallest edge lower than 1080 basically. But yeah, I'm going to drag this in now. You don't have to work with this image. It's totally up to you what you want to use. I'm just going to set up the layout of this similar to the demo image that I showed you at the start. So for mine, making sure it is a smart object. If yours isn't a smart object, just right click it and click on convert to smart object. So as long as yours is a smart object, you can go to image, adjustments and threshold, and then just pull this slider along until you can isolate your creature or whatever it is you've got. Some images might not be as easy to do this on as mine, but for me, I just need to pull it to the right a little bit, press OK, and then we're going to click on these two little sliders here to change the blend mode of that threshold, and we're just going to change it to darken. So this means we still get like the color and the shading from the original illustration or scan or whatever this was before it was open source, but without all the background texture and stuff. You can go back in and just keep editing the threshold until you're happy with it, but I'm happy with that. So I'll just quickly swap my background to black as well, and I'm going to just add in my text too. So we can just import this into Dither Boy, but because this text is just black and then white shapes, it might not create like a very interesting dithered pattern. What you can do is if you select both of these, put them in a layer group, come down here to layer styles and just add a gradient overlay. If you just go for something like this where it's just black to white and you're just sort of fading the text down a little bit, you don't have to go as intense as that. You can turn the opacity down or up as much as you want. This will just mean that there is some direction to the dithering pattern that appears in the text now, rather than just being a flat dither. You can, if you want, literally just go on the right here to the gradient tool and apply a gradient over everything, and then change like the blend mode of this to like linear burn or something to add that to your image below, or you can add gradients as much as you want, and essentially the light parts of the gradient will be more densely dithered and the dark parts of the gradient will be more sparsely dithered. So this means that if you are dithering something that would otherwise just look flat, if it's just a black and white image, then you can get some like granular textures going by adding gradients in beforehand. All that's totally optional. So I'm going to save that now as a JPEG, and I'm going to open up Dither Boy. And then I'm going to pick a dithering style. So for this, for what we're going for today, I would just pick anything above the bit tone style here. So any of these, I'm not going to read them all out. I just wouldn't go below the 2-row Sierra, just because these ones are all quite granular and they just fit what we're going to do later on with the image a bit more. So for me, I'm going to go for Bayer ordered, and I'm just going to adjust these contrast, midtones, highlights and threshold sliders until I've got something I'm happy with. You can export as many as you want at this point. So like you can just click export, give it a new name, change again, export, give it a new name. Just, you can do that as much as you want. And the only thing I would avoid at this stage is going too high. So if you go to like 20 scale, then this isn't, it looks cool, but it's not going to line up with what we're trying to do later on in this process. So maybe like 8 is the highest I'd go. So I'm going to do a couple of exports now, starting at the scale of 3. And it's helpful to literally just name them. So like you could name it Bayer ordered scale 3, and then you could switch to Floyd Steinberg and you could go scale 5, do a couple more adjustments, and then name that to match like the scale and the style you went for. But yeah, you can keep doing that as much as you want. But just for the sake of making sure this video isn't an hour long, I'm just going to come back into Photoshop now and just drag my 2 exports that I got back in here. You can hide all this below or delete it if you want, if you're not going to edit any of this later. I'm just going to put it in a group and put it below my background. From here, you're going to make a gradient map and pick your colors. So if you want to be true to the actual colors of that era, you're going to go for like a sort of ugly green, like slightly less than fully saturated green, and then just reverse it so it's got a green background. You can move the color stops in a little bit for the black one if you would like the black to be a little bit more intense. And another thing you might encounter here is if you go for a scale that's too low, Photoshop is using interpolation to display your image here. So this image does not look how it looked in Dither Boy because we've opened it in Photoshop. The dither pattern looks weird, but if you look at the bottom, we're viewing this image at 33.61 scale for me. Depending on your screen size and stuff, yours will be different. But if you just make sure that zoom is at 100%, so if I zoom in now, you can see at 102%, you can actually view the dither pattern as we created it in Dither Boy. Your image will export and reflect how this looks in the Photoshop preview window when it's at 100%. So if it looks weird at 30, or if you're zooming out even further, like it's gonna use their interpolation, which is just to guess what this image might look like to display the pixels. So don't worry about it if it looks weird. I'm just gonna desaturate my green a little bit. I'll put this color code in the description because I think that's quite close to what we're going for here. And then next, there are 2 ways to do this next bit. You can do it the really quick way using a Photoshop action that I made that's completely free, but I'll show you both ways. So if you go to studioAAA.com/free and just download this, the CRT effects kit, and you can download all the other stuff as well if you want, but it might look a bit different when you get here. There might be some new stuff there. But yeah, download the CRT effects kit and you can get one of the actions I'm about to use. If you're going to do it that way, just click on your top layer, go to actions. If you can't see actions, go to window and just make sure actions is ticked. If you need to install the action, click on these 3 lines here and go to load actions and navigate to the file you downloaded from my site. And all we're going to run is this generate scanline action. So if you just click on that, click play, it'll generate this file here with some new options in it. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just go to file, new, and we're going to make a document that is 2 pixels wide and 1 pixel high. You're going to have to zoom all the way in to actually edit that. Next, you are going to get the rectangular marquee tool and just select the left pixel. Press Ctrl and I to invert that pixel, and then press Ctrl and D to deselect the pixel. Next, we're going to go to edit and click define pattern. You're done with that now, so you can come back into your original, go to layer, new fill layer and click pattern, and that will generate one of these types of layers here. If you double click on it, you'll be able to select that pattern that we just created and scale it to 100% or more than 100 or whatever you want. Select an angle. I would recommend going for 0 or 90, but when you run that action, it'll generate one at 0, one at 45 and one at 90 for you. So it's just like a quick way of doing it. Next, if we zoom in and turn on one of those layers, you can turn it up to 100% opacity. And basically by double clicking on the pattern layer and getting this scale slider up, you can up the scale until the lines roughly match the size of your dithering. So this quality looks really bad, but if we look at this set of pixels here, these 9 pixels, and double click on this pattern fill layer here, you can see we're nearly there. So like if I go to 286 scale, that is roughly lining up these pixels with the sizes of the lines. The only other thing to do then is just pick a blend mode. You can go overlay or like multiply, depends what kind of like how intense you want it to be. And then if we zoom out, you'll see now you've got the screen lines, you've got the dither effect, they line up. You can change the color as well if you want. And when you export this, it will look how it looks at 100. So I can't really accurately preview this at 34%. So I'll save this and I'll put it on screen so you can see how it actually looks. So we know that 286% is working for our 3 scale Bayer ordered dither. So if I turn that layer off now and go onto the Floyd Steinberg dither that we did using 5 scale and zoom in again, something like 374% scale works better for this one. So that's more or less how I did it. You can obviously tweak this as much as you like. I will have to show these like on screen as the exports because they look, I've just looked at the recording over here and it doesn't look great with all the interpolation and stuff. But beyond that, like adding a gradient map to a dithered output, like at whatever color you want, and then going to the free page on my website and say downloading these textures, dragging one of those on, picking a blend mode is a really quick way to just get cool stuff out of dithering. Obviously you don't have to use my textures, you can use whatever textures you like, but paper textures always look cool with dithering. And yeah, it just means you can get a load of options out of 1 or 2 dithers. If you've still got Dither Boy open, like you can come back and keep messing with the scale. So if you did want to do like a big chunky one, turn the scale up to 12, save that, drag that one in, and just keep experimenting all you want really. I find this really fun. I love this style. I'm going to be doing more Dither Boy stuff and more dithering related tutorials and more dithering just in my work generally. So if you want to get in on Dither Boy now, all the updates that we do in the future will be included. As I said, it's not like a subscription service. You buy this once and you'll get everything that we make in Dither Boy included in your purchase. We've already started talking about doing an update, so it'll be here before long. I don't have a date yet, but yeah, couple of people asked for this, so hopefully this explains how I did it. I'll show all the exports I got from this video on screen now, and I'll link public work, the free textures, Dither Boy, and anything else that I mentioned in this video in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.